This video is focused on the February 2019 release of Quin-C. It's going to be a PowerPoint only demo because there's simply too much material to cover and keep it to our normal length. However, there are follow-up videos on each of the key features, so keep an eye out for those if you're interested in them. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to do an overview of the features in the release. Then we're going to talk about a roadmap for the March release. It's early on to really talk roadmap for March release, and just go ahead and keep checking the message board if you want updated information as we learn more. But we'll give you our best guess today. So the stats for the release are here. We had 28 changes. Again, those are just small things, stylistic usually. We had 60 new features and 107 bug fixes for a total of 195. Although I spelled total wrong, but forgive me. So what I've done is listed the features in different buckets based on how I sort of generally think about them, but they really fit across the different markets. So if you think differently than I do, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter too much. They're all in the Quin-C version. We are not focusing on the enterprise features that are in this release. That will have its own video. So again, if you're an enterprise customer, you might want to keep an eye out for that one as well. All right, so we have a whole bunch of legal features or legal review features. If the features are marked as black anywhere in here, and basically these 5, that means they're already in existing product access data cells. And this is just sort of Quin-C playing a little bit of catch up. If they're marked in red, they're either completely new, in most cases they're completely new, or they're a modified version, as in the case of the direct to relativity export capability. So let's go through them. We're going to start with the legal review features, then we're going to do forensics, and then we'll touch on the other. So unitization, these again are catch-up features. We did the PDF merge, the ability to stick 2 documents together into one. We did introduce a slightly new capability, but not significant enough for me to color this thing red. But we now have the ability to create a new document or merge the resulting document into one of the existing ones. So if you have document A and document B, and you want to merge them together into document C, you can do that. That would be like what's available in summation. But if you also want to merge them together into document A or document B, that's a new capability that Quin-C has. We also introduced unitization, which again summation already has, which is the core ability to split one document into multiple documents and move pages around, rotate pages and things like that. All that's now available in Quin-C. I wrote new here, but really I just wanted to highlight the functionality in this feature is more developed in summation. If you're used to using it in summation, I think it's a little bit better in summation. It's more visual. All the capabilities are here in Quin-C, but it's more of a sort of a grid engineering based focus than the nice visual approach summation utilizes. It will be functional, you'll be able to get it done, but again, I just wanted to give the heads up, summation looks a little bit nicer. All right, tabbed productions. This is a new feature for access data. Though I believe it's catch up in the industry. I believe other companies are already doing this. And it's the ability to, instead of do productions the way summation does them, where they create new documents and add it back to the case, it's just to create a tab productions, additional documents that can be attached, if you will, to the original. So you can see this document has 7 additional productions it's been a part of: prod 1, prod 9, prod 10, prod 11, 12, full test 2, and BA test, or BA test 1. In any event, and you can click on any one of those and see the documents. The change to this type of production gave us a lot of flexibility. I think it's going to be a real positive for our customers. You can now do productions without actually adding new documents to the case, so your document count's not going to go up, which is a big positive. You have an easy ability to alter productions. So whereas historically, if a production went wrong, it was very difficult to fix. Let's say 10 documents got messed up in the production. It was very difficult to fix them. That's not the case here. You can reproduce this document to prod 10, for example, and you will simply overwrite the prod 10 stream, and you will have fixed it, if you will, in that production. So it makes it a lot easier, and we've also separated all the production steps. So you're really not going to have the failures that have been common in summation. To be clear, I think we've done a great job of stamping out most of those failures, but nonetheless, this is going to be much more reliable. Auto redaction. This is a new capability. If you're an international customer, you might refer to this as anonymization as well. You can use it for both. It's the ability to enter a whole set of search terms and then enter redacted text, redaction text. You can also leave it blank and it will just black out the word. And redact against all the documents in any given filter or the entire case. So if I wanted the word Lihili to be covered up with the word client, client A, or whatever synonym I'm using, or pseudonym, I'd be using for Lihili, I can go ahead and do that here. So a new capability, and I think pretty cool. I think there's a lot of really helpful applications of this. A custom slip sheet. This came from customer request. In summation, it's fairly difficult to get in slip sheets. You have to create them in the outside, then you have to upload them. You have to upload them to target documents. It's a bit of a headache, in my opinion. This has made it way, way easier. You can just type whatever you want in to be your slip sheet and just run it, and it will replace. It will create a slip sheet with this text in it and use it to replace all the documents in whatever your current filter is, or your entire case, or whatever it is you are after, or your single document. I think it's, again, much easier for people that need to utilize slip sheets with any degree of frequency. Bait searching. While summation has the ability to bait search, we've expanded that ability pretty extensively. And this sort of marries to our new tab productions. Now, anytime you produce a document, the baits that is associated with it is saved in a searchable database. And then you can type in the baits in any DT search format. So this is test00*. And then if you click this ## instead of the normal search, it will run a bait search and get you back all the documents that have baits numbers that are reactive to this search. Now, to be clear, you could have produced this document 10 times, and one of the streams is reactive to this, and so it would come up. You would still need to go through all the different streams to figure out which one was reactive. But the point is you can quickly get to the relevant document. We have the alternative desktop view, which has actually been in previous releases, but is sort of a nice, clean way of utilizing Quin-C. It's now available, and it has a system dashboard and a case dashboard. That's the real sort of wow features at the moment. The system dashboard has the ability to track user activity, jobs, and case data, or system data, I should say. So you can see here I'm looking at the data for the system, and it shows me how many, when I took in the data by case, the data by object file category, by extension, so on and so forth. I can run a simple case filter. At this point, I've moved to the cases, and I have this search here so I can find whatever case I'm looking for. Once I've found it, see, I'm here in the Ngram case. I have a case dashboard that will give me all these different detail about the case. Again, the same basic data overview, same user activity overview that we were seeing in the system data, but now only focused on the individual case. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and open that, and that would open me into the by data type view, a very clean way to investigate a given case. Um, this is a really cool new widget if you are a service provider. Um, we call it the billing widget. It enables you to bill your customers based on their usage of Quin-C. So if you have three different customers, as I'm showing here, the Tim customer, the Bob customer, and the customer one customer, you can enter users, you can enter cases, rates, and invoice, and track the invoices associated with that customer. And you can go ahead and bill them for any given period, and it will show you all the hours worked by user, by case. It's all sorts of stuff it shows you, and it will calculate the total costs as a function of the rates you've entered for those activities, and it'll sum it all at the bottom. Um, Again, if you're a service provider, I think this is going to be really helpful. If you're not, probably not relevant to you at all. This is the Access Data tab of the billing widget. If you've already purchased Quin-C, this is probably irrelevant to you. But this introduces new sort of flexible billing capability if that's something you as a customer want. And I'm actually, you see I've highlighted here, it's up to Abdes. Abdes is the head of sales at Access Data. I'm not sure we will ever even end up creating billing strategies associated with this capability. But if we do, what it allows us to do is offer you a usage-based billing as opposed to our traditional license-based billing. And it doesn't mean that it has to be hosted in our cloud or anything. You can put it behind your firewall, air-gapped. We don't ever need access to it, and you can just send us these billing reports, and we can just roll forward that way. But again, I'm just an engineer explaining a feature. I'm not sure we'll be able to we'll end up utilizing it, but it is here. We introduced a new OCR engine, the AbbeyFine OCR, which is, in our experience, is faster than lead tools and more accurate. But you have to own a license to AbbeyFine. We're not shipping it with it. We ship it with, continue to ship with lead tools. We also introduced this direct to relativity export capability. So summation has that same capability, but I highlighted this in red anyway. And the reason for that is in summation, you can run your case and then export into relativity. In Quin-C, you don't actually even need to enter the case. You can export direct to relativity as part of processing. So you could choose whatever labels, whatever items you want to export into relativity and go ahead and process and export it straight away. So I think that ends up being sort of a cool new capability. Okay, so those were the legal features. Let's talk about forensics features. We have the new internet widget, as I can't remember whether I said it earlier on. I don't think I did actually. It's a widget focused entirely on internet data. We're going to be building it out more and more. I would say this is a really solid beta that's going to ship with this, and not beta in terms of it being buggy. It is not buggy. It is very stable. It's sort of shippable code in terms of stability, but it's beta in terms of maturity. There's a lot more I think we want to do with it than we've done so far, and so I want to sort of put a pin in it, if you will, and come back to it in maybe the next release and show you the progress we've made here. But you'll see us do a lot more of this, dedicated widgets to certain types of data that we feel merit, if you will, a special type of investigation. We've done a lot with improved carvers. We've got a lot of people that wanted us to expand this capability, and so we've done so. Specifically, we've added an extraction carver. We've got an X-Ways carver available if you're interested. This allows you now to ingest an X-Ways file, not as an image, just as a straight file, and then right-click on it and extract it into the case. It's a cool capability if you ever run across an X-Ways file. We also have it for VMware. We have it for all sorts of different parsers at this point, but a new capability, and I think it will expand dramatically our ability to facilitate new compound files, new compound containers, if you will. All right, this is the metadata display and virtual column import. For a long time, people have been asking me about showing the metadata associated with files. I've been doing that for the longest time here in the standard tab. But what I was showing was sort of standard information, not the unique attributes associated with each file. We've done that in the specialized tab now. And actually, we've gone one step further than is available in our other products. And we can now, if you want to, say you want to be able to sort all your documents by, whether the Slack is examined or not. Not that you would ever do that, but for example, pictures generally have camera type as one of the attributes here. And let's say you want to be able to have a camera type facet. You can go ahead and do that by clicking on here and then selecting import and then choosing the column you want that information to go into or create a new column. And it will go and import all the information into the new column, and then that gives you a column against which you can filter, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Evidence preview and targeted processing. I love this feature. I put it as a forensics feature, but a bunch of legal customers have requested it also, so it's kind of more a both feature. But this is the ability to preview evidence before processing it, see what's in it, and then only process that which you are interested in. So if you only want data from 2015, boom, you click here, you go ahead and process it, and all that will come into your case is data from 2015. Just makes it a lot more efficient dealing with large images that have 90% of data that you just don't even care about. So it gives you a quick way to focus down on what matters. Content AI, we've incorporated a new AI into Quin-C. This is a text-based AI. It allows the users to train against specific categories. So let's say you have a bunch of documents written by a specific person, and you want to go looking for other documents that might be written by that person. And let's say there's a style to the way they write. You could go ahead and train this AI against that type of style, those documents, and then run it against the rest of your case. I'm really interested to see how our customers end up utilizing this. I know it's critical to our longer term AI development within Quin-C, and you're going to see us stitch this together with several other of the AIs we already have in the product in order to deliver sort of a true, more autonomous based data review solution. And look for that to come actually in the March or April release. So we're right on the heels of it, if you will. All right, other features. So just scale. The scale of Quin-C is through the roof relative to any of our other solutions at this point. One instance of Quin-C supported approximately 400 concurrent reviewers. That's just huge. I can't imagine anyone needing that out of a single instance of Quin-C. And particularly because of the second point, we're successfully load balancing. We're running it in tests. It's working great. So now you could load balance, so you could string together a load balancer across, let's say, 4 versions of Quin-C and be serving, 1,200 concurrent users if anyone actually even has need for that kind of thing. I think we've totally achieved the scale required by even our largest customers. So I'm really happy with where we are there. QView, we did a ton with QView this cycle. QView is maybe one more cycle away from being what I was hoping it would be, which is, I think, a viable replacement for FTK, at least for FTK reviewers. Maybe not for the deep dive forensics type users that like all the nitty-gritty features in FTK, but certainly for the majority of our customer base, I believe this will more than satisfy their needs. We have a mode in which QView stays synced with Quin-C. Documents you click on in Quin-C populate here and directly into the viewer. Really powerful. We also have a standalone version where you click on the standalone and then you can choose whatever case you want, and it loads a grid, and you can see there's paging in the grid now, and you can run filters, same as you would in Quin-C, but this time just entirely in the heavy client mode. And then finally, we have some nice charts that we're starting to integrate. This stuff is in a nascent state, but it's coming very rapidly. And like I said, I think maybe the next release or the very next one will have Quin-C really in a fantastic spot. I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. Okay, finally, the March roadmap. This is just the beginnings. Actually, if you go into the Mantis roadmap tracker, I think you'll see we've already added a lot more than is here. So forgive me for this already outdated information, but let's go through it really quickly anyway. We talked a lot about the AI workflow we're building up. This is critical to our longer term strategy. We're going to do a bunch with case management in this release. A bunch with mobile data. We had hoped to do that in the release. We just had the February release, but we didn't get to it, so we pushed it to the March release. And then we're taking the work we did on the lit hold widget and we're expanding it out to a messaging center, and we're going to tie it in with the case management. I think it's quite robust what we'll be able to deliver here. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out. I put AI workflow in both places because it's so critical to both, but it's going to be largely the same thing. In QView, we at least want a timeline and get some video and image enhancements in, but there's just a lot more already on the Mantis roadmap, so go check that out if you're interested. So anyway, this was a much longer video than I normally like to give. I hope it was interesting enough and you found it educational. Like I said, if you're looking for a demo of these things, or if you're looking for a video that goes more in depth in any of these features, those are coming as we rework all of our video content to reflect the updated state of Quin-C. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again next time.